everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we're going to be reading into any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for your week ahead. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so welcome back to those of you who join me for these weekly readings every single week. You guys know who you are, and I thank you at every single video because I appreciate you guys coming back every single time and talking about how each of the piles resonate for you. So thank you to each of you who have been so supportive. I appreciate it so much. And to those of you who are new, welcome to the channel. It's wonderful to have you guys here. I hope you guys enjoy as much as everyone else has so far, as we're growing such a beautiful community here just at the start, and it's so lovely. So if you are new, I do these weekly readings every single Monday, as well as timeless and monthly readings that you can check out as well. I do monthly blessings videos. So if you're interested in any of that or other magical content that I play around with, please be sure to subscribe and join this community. It's wonderful and so loving and supportive. So I'd love to have you guys here. And feel free to hit the notification bell as well, because YouTube doesn't always love to let you guys know when these videos come out. And so that's just a for sure way to make sure that you don't miss out on your weekly or monthly readings. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and look at these beautiful piles. So I went ahead and chose different jars and crystals. I've done this sort of theme twice before, and you guys have really enjoyed it so far. So I really wanted to sort of keep that theme up and go with it again today. So for pile 1, we have here a chunk of Opalite, as well as these red pepper flakes. So if this is resonating with you in any way, then that is pile 1. And then once I get it to stay, pile 2 here is yellow Adventurine, as well as all these beautiful little pumpkin seeds. So if this is resonating with you, then pile 2 might be the pile for you. And lastly, we have here a bunch of leaves, sort of in a confetti form, as well as this green Adventurine. So if this is resonating with you, then pile 3 might be for you. So as always, you can make a better decision on which pile is for you. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath together, a deep cleansing breath, so you can make a better decision and use your intuition to figure out the pile that's right for you. Alright, so if you already know which pile is resonating with you, feel free to check the link in the description down below, where there's a lot of lovely information to check out, as well as the chapter marks within the video. But if you're sort of struggling, you can always choose more than one pile, or go back on a pile, or choose a different one. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You can choose 2 piles, 3 piles, 1 pile, whatever works for you. I don't mind. So just take whatever is resonating, maybe even feel over the piles, and figure out which one's sort of jumping out at you. And we will go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hello, group 1. If you've decided to choose this piece of Opalite, as well as this jar of red pepper flakes, then this is the pile for you. I will set them down right here so you can see them during your reading. But today we're going to be using the charms, as always, as well as the watercolor affirmations. The tarot deck we're using today is the Everyday Tarot, and we're using the Language of Flowers and Celtic Lenormand deck today. So I hope you guys have had a wonderful month so far with October, and if you're watching this in the future, then whatever month you are currently in, I hope it's been treating you well so far. But let's go ahead and see what you have coming in for your week. Any sorts of messages that we need to hear. So group 1, we're looking for any information on group 1's week ahead. The week ahead for group 1. Any insights, guidance, energy that might be coming in for group one. Group one. We're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance. All right, this one. So here we have the 7 of Cups. Let's see what other messages you have coming in. So group one, we're looking for what kind of energy is coming in for your highest good. What kind of insights do we need to know about? Whoop, there we go. All right, so I'm just going to take the top card of both of these little piles and go from there. But just as I said that, I feel like I have to address that the other 2 cards that fell out were both the Page of Swords and the King of Swords. So I feel like I have to keep all of these messages. So let's just keep them all. Why not? So let's go ahead and look at your Language of Flowers message real quick. Group one, we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance coming in, or new information on Group 1's week ahead for their highest and greatest good. We're looking for Group 1's week ahead, any information we need to know about or seek out for Group 1. So there was this one right here. You have Sunflower, assertiveness, rise up and stand stronger and true. So there you go with Sunflower right there. And let's see your Celtic Lenormand message. So we're looking for Group 1. We're looking for any information, insights, or guidance coming in. I believe it was this dog. So we'll take that message there. I love when the cards get all flouncy. Yours is really doing it today, where they're just wanting to pop out. So we're going to just go with that. They're very assertive in and of themselves. So let's look at your last message before we do the charms later on in the reading. So Group 1, we're looking for any information, insights, or guidance for Group 1's week ahead. The week ahead for Group 1. There we go. See, with the Page of Swords and the King of Swords, I always feel like when you get sort of like this dynamic, there's always sort of a comparison moment. So here you have comparison is toxic. There we go. Now it's focusing. Comparison is toxic. So that is what I'm already seeing here with the Page of Swords and the King of Swords. So let's go ahead and talk about them first. As the Page and King of Swords have obviously a lot in common, I always think of sometimes the suits, or the court cards rather, to be sort of like a family dynamic. So I always feel like the Page is like the young son, and then the King of Swords is the father or grandfather in this case. So they have all of the knowledge, they know their direction, they've gone through a lot of life experience and sort of settled down some of that air energy. And then you have the Page of Swords in this case, that is sort of more young and naive and figuring things out and just going for it, but still sort of unsteady, because the Knight would really just go for it, but the Page is sort of a little bit more uneasy. They aren't ready to take all of the steps, but yet when they do, they're very wild about it. They go for it, but it's just that uneasiness. And I feel like you might be comparing yourself to this person whom you feel is wiser or better or has more knowledge than you or just has everything figured out, and you're still feeling sort of unsteady, on perfect footed ground. You haven't grounded yourself down in what you want to do, where you want to go, your life decisions and goals, and that's okay. We can be in that energy. That energy is fluid. And I was reading a quote the other day. I won't be able to say it word for word, but basically a rock is very sturdy and very strong and steady, yet water, even though it is flowing, is still able to break down that rock. So even flowing energy has a lot of power to it. So I feel like you still have a lot of power and a lot of movement, but you might be feeling like you can't because you're comparing yourself a little too highly to this King of Swords. And I think it's your time to shine, right? Because the sunflower is all about shining. The sunflower follows the sun, follows the positivity, is assertive. They grow so tall and they're very strong in their stalk. They are just very strong. And I feel like you are growing or growing that confidence in you where you're not having to compare yourself to them or do exactly what they're doing. You may get influenced or have ideas or bounce ideas off of this person or this idea of someone being higher up than you. This could be someone on social media that you look up to. This could be someone in your personal life. But it's time for you to shine, to let yourself do what you want to do, pursue your goals, and most importantly, defend them. Defend what you want, because as you can see, the Nine of Wands, they have like these injuries, and you may have had to go through a battle to get here, and you may have had to really fight and be assertive and make boundaries for yourself, which are super important. It's so important to lay down boundaries, especially this week, I feel like. So lay down those boundaries, where you want to go. Tell people if you need to, and if you don't feel like they're supporting you, then you don't have to. This is your path, your life, and you get to shine your light without having them try to make you feel like you can't, or that you have to compare yourself, or like there's just like that toxicity. And I think it's time to just put those borders down and move forward. Alongside that, though, you do have people in your life who are your companions, because here we have the dog. And I forgot to showcase, but the dog here, in case it is resonating for anyone, has the number 18 here at the top, as well as the 10 of Cups, which is interesting with this 10 of Pentacles. This is the one that I felt was really resonating together. But the dog is all about being a loyal companion to someone, being very loyal. You know, they are going to protect you. They're going to help you. They're going to laugh and cry with you. You know, they are very comforting. They're loyal. They'll stay by your side. So these are the people that don't care what you are doing, as long as it's making you happy, and that you are also treating them well. That's all that really matters. So they want you to go after your goals and pursue them, whatever they are, whatever they may be, even if it's just something really simple. It doesn't have to be something major and huge, since this is just a weekly message, but for some of you it might be, and it's just go after it, be assertive, make those boundaries, because you have prosperity in your life coming your way. If you don't feel like this is already there, it is on its way. But if you feel like you are prosperous in those people that are around you, maybe they're not necessarily trying to hold you back, but maybe you're trying to put those boundaries in because you've created this like idea in your head, which might have to do with the 7 of Cups, as they might not be really trying to hold you back. They might just, you can't help yourself. Sometimes you compare yourself to your parents, or you compare yourself to those that are higher than you or have more knowledge than you, and they might not be trying to actually put you down. They might just, by being themselves, you might just feel like you are lesser, and that is not true. They are also here to support you. If they're on your side, they're there, and so you should feel that how grateful they are to have you in their life. And lastly, here with the 7 of Cups, the 7 of Cups is about fantasy. It's about dreams. It's about having your head in the clouds. As you can see, all of these cups are hanging out in the clouds, which means it feels something almost otherworldly, something you couldn't ever actually reach. And it also does talk about indecision, because you have all these different options, all these different opportunities, just like right in your grasp, but you're not really sure how to get there, right? Like, how do you get all the way up into the clouds here? Like, do you need a really tall ladder? How are you going to get there? So right now your goals may just feel too far away, which is why that Page of Swords was really talking to me here, because I felt like you just might not have your footing. You might just feel like everything's just too far to reach. Like it's just, you don't have the skills or something, but you do. It's just, you have to fumble around a little bit, but you'll be able to reach them. You just have to decide what you want and then go for it. So with all of that said, I think I'm going to go ahead and leave that there, and we'll go ahead and move on to your charms, group 1. So, like I said, it's just, I think you guys have a lot of potential, but you're holding yourself back with this comparison. And it really is toxic in our brains if we're holding ourselves back with that sort of knowledge. So with all of that said, let's look at those charms, as I mentioned, and see what we have in there for you. Group one, we're looking for any information, insights, guidance, or messages for group one's week ahead. The week ahead for group one. Okie dokie. So let's see just what you have here. So I'm going to, as always, just pick up the charms and just sort them out because you have quite a few here in the center. I just want to work through that. This one I just picked up, and it was upside down, which usually I would put away, but because you had the dog already, I feel like that was meant to be there and to flip it over anyway. It's just sort of a double message there. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom you in so you can have a better look at what's going on here, which is very much on one side of the board and then right in the center. So that means you have quite a lot going on in the center of your month and the focus of the focus of your week. And then here in the outer, when it's usually all on one side, especially on this side, it's talking about more of those things that are either in your subconscious, especially since we were talking about that Seven of Cups, which has sort of that fantasy subconscious element, dream element to it. So that's kind of interesting already, but we'll talk more on that in a moment. First, let's go ahead and talk about all these charms here in the center. So like I said, I felt like this dog needed to pop out for you, which is just another message that you have companions, you have people out there who are friends and friendly to you. You just have to look in the same direction they are. Not exactly that you have to follow the same path that they are, but they are moving in the same direction as you. They aren't trying to oppose you or try to get in your way, because that's not true friendship. So look out for that. If they are not feeling very friendly, then you might just have to hold your ground. Some of the other elements that I'm seeing here is you have the key ring, which represents cycles that are happening within your life, things that are commonly happening, habits that we have, those sorts of things. I don't know why it doesn't want to, there we go. So those sorts of things that are just going round and round and round. You just keep either continually doing these habits, which could be good habits, and if they are, then that's cool, but it seems more like there's some habits that you need to break, because here it is breaking the cycle, breaking that chain, breaking that habit and merry-go-round that's happening here. And it might even be you who felt like you needed to cut something off, right? Because we have the scissors here, so you might be cutting something off, cutting off a situation, which could have to do with someone else, especially with friends, as we were seeing here, if they are toxic, if there is that comparison element. But if you feel like it isn't something having to do with your friends, which is completely fine and valid, it might just have something to do with the habits that you're doing this week. So it might just be something that a habit you need to break. As for a while, you've been putting it to the wayside, because here you have the clothespin, which means you're just going to pin it up, come back to it later when it's dry, but sometimes it requires a little bit more work than that, and I think that that's something that you maybe haven't been really paying attention to and just letting these cycles continue to happen, and this is the week to sort of begin that journey to end some of that. You also have a bit of creativity happening here in the center too with the palette, so if you guys are creative, I know as of the time that this is being filmed. Inktober is happening, so for some of you, maybe you are participating in Inktober or another creative outlet or endeavor, and that's really exciting. Let me know in the comments what it is. I'm such an art nerd, so I'd love to know. You also have here the present, which sometimes can represent gifts coming in. So if it's a birthday or something like that, that might be happening for some of you. Gift giving, maybe giving a gift, for a house gift, anything like that. But it can also represent like the gifts in our lives, so the people that we cherish, but it also is to be present with them. So you literally are being present in the moment with these people, as these are really wonderful moments, those beautiful moments that sometimes just get sort of tucked away and we forget about them, or we don't really put them to light. This is that week to cherish those moments, cherish that prosperity, because people talk about prosperity like it's only money, but prosperity comes in happiness, it comes in joy, it comes in those beautiful, grateful moments. So take those in and be present in those this week, as the charms are really sort of urging that. And lastly, here in the center, we have one of my newer charms here, which I'm really excited about, and it is the little Cinderella shoe. And if you're familiar with the tale of Cinderella, or at least the Disney one, I don't know about the exact one, she would put on this glass slipper and only Cinderella would fit in it. So it's sort of urging you to be your own self, be unique, and don't try to fit in a shoe if it doesn't fit you. You don't have to, especially with that comparison, you don't have to try to fit into something that doesn't fit you. It's not your size, it doesn't make sense for you, it's not your style. Don't try to feel forced to try to tiptoe around it or have to wear something that just doesn't fit you, right? So this is just urging you to be yourself and, find the shoe that actually fits, right? Now let's talk about sort of this subconscious part of the board. So first, I'm really curious what this has to do with, because here we have a chakra charm, and this is the solar plexus chakra, which has to do with your confidence. It has to do with your gut reaction in a physical sense, but it also has to do with like that fire in your belly, creative element. So that is right above the belly button. So that's where that energy center is located. But I would like to pull you a quick card here from the Chakra Love deck that is in the solar plexus, and we'll see what you have there. All right, so I've just pulled all of those out. Let's go ahead and see what message is coming in for you for your week having to do with the solar plexus, group 1 solar plexus message here. I think for group 1 solar plexus. Okay, so here you guys have manifestation with solar plexus chakra, and it says here topaz, or yellow topaz to be more specific, would be a great crystal to use this week to help with this specific element that I'll talk about here. But you have manifestation. So manifestation is the fruition of confidence and belief. So it has to do with not only having confidence, but also believing in yourself, which I was already talking about, that I felt like you needed to find that footing and just gain that confidence, build those boundaries that you need so that you can start building a foundation in whatever it is that you want to do, so that you can actually reach these cups, right? That I was showcasing earlier. So with manifestation, it's asking the universe and having that belief in yourself, like asking yourself to really do this. And I'm sure we've all done that. We've made that list. We've done, that, going over a certain thing, a goal in our head, but then we don't make a clear plan and follow through with it. So this is that time to put those two together, have the passion and belief, but also have manifested into your life, which sometimes means you have to break cycles that you've been in. I personally am a big person for procrastination, and I'm sort of seeing that here, because you have the comfort, creature comforts charm, and then right next to it you have the hacksaw. So with the hacksaw, it's sort of, you have to hack at it, right? You're like really hacking at it. You're really trying for it, but that means you have to, put some of your comforts aside. You have to get a little risky. And as a Taurus, I understand. But you're just sort of have to cut away some of those comforts, cut away some of those, cycles, so that you can manifest something forward. So it is going to take a bit of work, but I think that the overall result is going to be worth it. So lastly here, we have one more little section here in your subconscious area or your dreaming fantasy area. And it's just time to move that into action. And you have the charm of Pisces. So you or someone else around you may or may not be may be a Pisces. So look out for that for their sun, rising, or moon sign, or your sun, rising, or moon sign. Wow, words today. And it says here, it fell this way, intuitive. So this is usually, wow, words really. This is using your intuition this week. And maybe even using more of your subconscious intuition, those especially with this solar plexus, I was talking about intuition in a physical sense, those gut feelings. So sometimes we don't always get a rational sense, a idealistic sense in our head, a logical sense, and it's more of you can feel it. Some people literally do feel a feeling with their intuition that is very physical, that you can tangibly understand. So really listen to your intuition this week about someone or someone who may or may not be a Pisces, because here you have the pawn, which represents a person in your life, and then you have the bolt, which means they're probably pretty close to you. You probably have a very strong relationship with this person. You feel very bolted down with them, very rooted with them, because you also have the river rock. But like I was talking earlier with the river, I feel like you might be just having to chip away. So if this is a person that isn't really helpful for you, this is that time to figure out where those loyalties lie in some people. And if they lie with you, then that's amazing. Keep that going with this person. And if they lie with someone else or with other toxic behaviors for you, it's time to sort of hack that away. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and recap here for you. You had so many messages. I feel like I've been talking so fast. I hope you guys have been able to keep up, but let's go ahead and look at these messages. So most importantly, comparison is toxic. So don't let other people trying to bully you or push you in a certain way that you may not be feeling ready for. Also, build those boundaries that you need this week. That's super important. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. You are able to reach the goals in which you are so excited about, or even not feeling like you could even reach, it's such a dream or a fantasy, how could I ever get there? But you have it. Building that support with those people who truly do support you is important, and being assertive about your goals is important. Standing strong and true, manifesting that forward. And then prosperity is coming for you. Be present with those that are supporting you. That's so important as well. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with these messages for your week. If you did really enjoy this video and would like to help this channel further, please be sure to like the video. It really does help the channel and lets me know that you enjoyed this reading. Also, be sure to let me know in a comment what you thought of these charms, maybe what this creative endeavor is, how you feel possibly at the end of the week versus the beginning of the week. I'd love to know. That's something that's really interesting to me, how you guys feel and resonate with this in these readings. So thank you to those of you who comment. I really do enjoy them. And lastly, if you are new to the channel, welcome. I do these types of readings every single Monday with these week ahead readings, as well as timeless and other fun monthly readings. So feel free to check out the monthly reading out currently. And with all of that said, please be sure to subscribe if you are new and you want to join this community, as I would love to have you here. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. I'm wishing you a wonderful and magical week ahead, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! Hello Group 2! If you've decided to choose this piece of yellow Adventurine and these pumpkin seeds, then this is the pile for you. go ahead and set them down here so you can see them during your reading. Today we are going to be using the charms as always, as well as the watercolor affirmations. We'll also be using the Language of Flowers and Celtic Lenormand deck, and today's deck of choice is the Everyday Tarot. So I hope you guys have had a good month so far and that the current or last week has been treating you well. Let's go ahead and see what messages you have coming in and guidance for your week. So group two, we're looking for any information on group two's week ahead. Any insights, energy, guidance, information that could be helping us towards a higher and better place for your week ahead. So group two, we're looking for group two's energy for their week. Group two. They're really turning today, which usually doesn't happen, so that's really interesting anyway. Maybe you guys have been feeling a little topsy-turvy. I'm not for sure, but let's see what they have to say. Group two, we're looking for any information, insights, or guidance for group two's week ahead. Week ahead for group two. Alright, so they were a little sticky, but here we have the Lovers, as well as the Ace of Wands. Let's see your last message from the tarot cards today. Group two. We're looking for any information on group two's week ahead. So you also have here the Star, as well as the Four of Cups. I already have an idea on what might be going on here, but let's get some more information. So the Language of Flowers. Group two, we're looking for any information on group two's week ahead. There we are. So you have here Bird of Paradise, self-acceptance, you are so much more. That's a lovely, lovely card. So let's see your next one here with the Celtic Lenormand messages. Alright, so you have two right there, right off the bat. Here you have the Stork. This one's been following some of you guys around, which is interesting, but you have 17 and the Queen of Cups, or Queen of Hearts, if that resonates for some of you, as well as the Owls with the 7 of Pentacles and the number 12. So, you guys have a lot of messages. This happened also with group 1. I have a feeling this video is going to be a bit longer than normal, as you guys keep getting so many flyaway cards, but we're going to go with it. Let's see your last message here for your week. Group 1. Oh, group 2. Wow, I'm going to do that again just because I said group 1. Group 2. We're looking for group 2's week ahead for group 2. There we go. That feels better. All right. Here you have laughter is the best medicine, which it truly is. If you've ever been in a situation where someone tries to make you laugh when you're upset, you know you have that moment of like refusing to laugh, but then you feel so much better, the release from that. So you might just be feeling like you need a little laughter this week. Alright, so we're going to be doing the charms later on in the reading, so stay tuned for those. But first, let's talk about the Four of Cups and the Lovers here. Actually, honestly, it's almost like a progression that I'm already seeing here in the cards, so let's just pick them all up together. As sometimes tarot really can read like a story, and I feel like for you guys, there's a narrative here. So first off, you have the Four of Cups, and the Four of Cups represents being sort of pessimistic, not really looking at the whole picture, refusing acceptance or help from other people, refusing to look at your emotions or how you're truly feeling about something. You might be feeling stubborn about something in a relationship, especially with the Lovers card. So this could be a platonic relationship, it could be a relationship with yourself, so self-love, and it also can be a relationship with someone you are interested in or invested in right now. So that's something to look out for, but you just might be feeling like things are down, or you're feeling pessimistic, you're just trying to put yourself down, perfectionistic. But the point is, people are here to help you. People aren't looking at your work and the things that you're doing or your emotions as these perfect things. They know you're imperfect. They know you have flaws and things that are not perfect, and that's okay. They're still here to help you emotionally. They're still here to be your backbone. And you might just be feeling like things just aren't going the way that you would wish, but life is not always perfect, and that's okay, okay? That is okay. So after this card, you have here the star, which represents a renewal, or hope, or something just getting cleansed and refreshed. So with the star, I feel like you are cleansing yourself of this week of that pessimism. So if that does come across for you this week, either once or multiple times, or it's been a theme in your life recently, this week is going to be that turning point, that switch from hot to cold or cold to hot. You're going to be flipping it on its head and really finding that guiding light in your life, that person that can help you, and that might be yourself. You might be offering emotional assistance to yourself that you've been maybe hiding from yourself, or it can also be from someone who really does support you. But there is hope, there is renewal, there is that rebirth for you, which is so lovely to see. This I also think of as the self-love card. So you definitely, if you feel like this has to do with self-love or self-care, that's coming in this week. Then after that, you have the Lovers card, which is all about love for the people around you, love for yourself, love in general. It's the love card. So this does have to do with relationships and feeling like a true and honest relationship. But unlike the Two of Cups or the Ten of Cups or anything like that, I feel like this is more about chemistry and initial attraction towards someone. So there just might be a reigniting of that chemistry and that fire and excitement in a relationship, if it is a romantic one, but a platonic one too. If you have a friendship that has just sort of fizzled out lately, or you haven't really seen them, a family member that you haven't seen in a while, or even just yourself, like I was talking about before with self-love, you just might be reigniting that. Especially with this Ace of Wands, which represents reigniting a flame that may have been lost for a while. So here with so this also can be talking about an ex. So if you're not interested in this might be where that pessimism might be coming from too, which I totally understand. So use your intuition on what you need to do in your course of action, but these are things that might be coming up. So then with the Ace of Wands, it also does represent, outside of the Lovers card, it does represent reigniting a creative endeavor too. So if you feel like you've been creative lately, or you wanted to be creative, or go after some really exciting goal or something, this is the beginning of that, because the aces represent a beginning, a moving forward, like holding that torch for yourself and just starting something new. So that's really exciting to see. So with all of these cards, let's go ahead and look at your other ones as well. I'm trying to put them back in order the way that I was seeing them, so you can see them that way too. So you also have here self-acceptance. You are so much more. So if you feel again like you've been putting yourself down, or having all those doubts, or just trying so hard at something so much that you aren't actually seeing the good around you or the good in yourself, this is the time to write that self-care list. Write a whole list of 10 things that you love about yourself, or love about your partner, or love about this situation, whatever it is that you feel like you've lost a little bit of yourself in. This is the time to reignite that. This is an exciting week for that. So, just let that come in. Self-care is so important. And I feel like you're sort of almost leveling up, right? Because you have here the crone card. I feel like it is the birds, but it is the crone of the birds in this specific deck. So it represents being wiser, being older, moving forward, and so you're having a new beginning, which is leading you towards something where you're going to feel more wise at the end of this creative endeavor. You're going to feel like you really gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of learning. So that's really exciting. So you might be learning a new skill or becoming more wise in yourself and how you can better yourself this week and your relationships. And lastly here you have the stork, which represents movement. So this can be migrating, moving physically, like as in like moving from one house to the other. So it can be something really drastic if you are moving right now or in a transitional period of any sort, really. But it also can represent movement in terms of like moving your body, like dancing or working out or anything like that. That could also be coming in. The other little thing I wanted to mention with the stork is just the typical symbol of a stork is, a baby on the way. So with the Lovers card, that's just something to keep in mind. If that is something of interest, then that's really exciting. If not, then, maybe take those precautions. But with all of that said, let's go ahead and move on to your charms. As you had a lot of information here, let's see what else you have coming in. I find it so interesting, this little progression of time that's happening here. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes the messages are very scattered, not in like a frazzled way, but just sort of they bounce around. But here it just felt very linear, so that's really interesting. Let me know if you felt like you resonated with that in the comments. I would be really interested. But let's go ahead and move on to your charms. So group two, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance for group two. Any energy, insights, or guidance for group two. On the week ahead. Okie dokie. So I just dropped one on the ground, but and bumped my table. So if anything looks different, that's why. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up all of the charms that fell out of place or in different areas so we can get a better sense here of what's going on. I'm also going to pick up the ones that are upside down as they are less relevant to the reading. Doke. So, I think we have all of them. So you don't have too much in your center, but I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in so you can get a better sense of what's going on here. As always, if the casting cloth is cut off in any way, there are no charms missing. You don't have to worry about that. So first off, right here in the center, you have the, my mom usually thinks of this as a lampshade, which I think is really funny, but I think of it as like a flower here, that's sort of dulled, right? It's a little dull, it's got a little lost, so that's where that pessimism was sort of coming in, or that loss of the flame, or that loss of, excitement towards a relationship in your life, and now you're building something there. So the flame may have been lost because you felt like you were being ignored, as this is the sort of invisibility charms. This represents feeling invisible, feeling like someone's not seeing you. So this is the week if you feel like that's happening, or if you've been even putting yourself on the back burner and you feel like you've just been invisible to your needs and your goals, then this is the week to put those and shine a light back on it. Shine for yourself. Don't put yourself in those shadows. So there you have that. And then you have the hesitation charm, because this is a bird, right? But they're not flying, but they're not not comfortable either. They just are hesitating. You're not making a move towards something. You're hesitating and waiting something out. You're waiting on the branch. Everything's flourishing. You have all this beautiful prosperity around you, but you're just not letting yourself take flight. So this is the week to take flight on something if you felt like you've been sort of holding off or waiting something out. So those are your top 3 most important messages here for the theme of your week. You also have a sort of a progression happening with the cycle. So this represents a cycle, and it's interesting too that you have the cycle charm, but this is about breaking a cycle. So if there was a cycle happening where you felt invisible or something was, causing this dissonance or this, just crappy feeling with that Four of Cups, then this is the time to break that habit, break that cycle, break that, continuation of this merry-go-round that's happening here. So the way that you're doing that is you're clearing things up. You're clearing something up around you. And then this is also making me think you're shining again, right? Like a disco ball. You're letting all your sides be seen. So that's really interesting too. But with these cycles, what is really cool is that it does go through sort of a cycle of growth again here. So you're going from like one side of the moon, and then by the time it gets illuminated, like I was being showcased, things have changed. So here you have the Four of Cups, which is just another message that this Four of Cups is definitely present in your life, right? This Four of Cups, feeling a little like people just aren't seeing you, or you don't feel like people are seeing you, or you're not giving to yourself. So that cycle is happening, right? And then from that, over time, as you have these conversations, as you move through the cycle that's happening here, which I'll talk more on, you have the swan. So here it is. And the swan is about embracing yourself, right? Swans are beautiful. They are not staying on the sidelines. They're not letting themselves fall to the wayside. They are proud and out and beautiful and letting their inner beauty and outer beauty shine. So this is your time to let yourself shine and be the center of attention if you need to. You don't have to be the person that stays in the background if you don't need to be. And the other thing about swans too is they like mate for life. So this is also talking about more of that relationship message, and even creating a stable relationship with a friend, a family member, or a relationship in a romantic sense, or even with yourself. So especially with that self-acceptance. And then there's just more information that you are heading towards a solid and honest and healthy love with someone. And love again in a platonic or romantic sense, as I think it's important to state that, because some people always think of love as only romance, but love comes in all shapes and sizes. So this is about true and healthy relationships coming in. So don't feel like that is only going to happen this week, like this huge renewal is all going to just like happen overnight. But as the weeks go on, this message is going to continue to flourish in your life. You also have here the broken record. So this represents feeling like you're having to repeat yourself or say something. So what I'm seeing here is there's just not being seen or heard, and maybe that's why you felt like you needed to reignite something. So change the tune, change the record, put something new on, because this cycle needs broken, because this also talks about cycles and going round and round and round, listening to the same song over and over again, and it's time to change that lyric, time to change that song. So make that change, be assertive. Because you have here the rhino, and rhinos, once provoked, will go for, they'll go for it, they'll go head on, headstrong. So be assertive in what you want, let yourself be that swan, let yourself grow, and, that's completely fine. If someone's trying to hold you back, then maybe it isn't a healthy relationship. So maybe it's time to find a more healthy relationship with yourself if you need to, because that is the only relationship that will ever truly matter throughout time. So, you always have to be there for yourself, because you are number one. And lastly, in this section of the board, you have the fluffy charms. This represents fluffing things out, making things more comfortable. But then you also have here the charm, you have sort of a cluster, literally, with the cluster charm of growth. So this represents growth. A leaf does represent growth, but it also represents, leaving something behind too. So something that's maybe made you feel chaotic, made you feel clustered and busy, because this represents busy. But then you also have here the trash charm. So it's time to throw away some of those things that we thought were priorities but aren't. So this can even just be having to do with that wanting to pursue something new and exciting with the Ace of Wands. So if you're wanting to pursue something new, maybe you have to put some of those wands down, put some of those other projects down that you just don't need anymore, that is wasting your time and holding back your growth. So look for that this week and make that more comfortable for yourself so you can have that growth, have that self-acceptance come in and feel a little less clustered and flustered. Lastly, here you have the cup of tea, which represents having honest conversations, because the cup of tea, you know, people say put on a tea kettle or put on some tea, or however you say it. I'm not from Britain, I don't know, and I don't really actually drink tea, but people tend to have conversations, have those sorts of, sometimes drama ensues, whatever it is, but usually a conversation happens. And so this is about having those truthful, honest conversations with someone whom has been possibly ignoring you, or maybe you've been ignoring their needs as well. So it's important to have these conversations. So that is a big one for your week as well, especially since it's taking up an entire section all its own. But with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and do a recap for your week group 2, as you have a lot happening here, a lot of growth, self-acceptance, moving forward, having true conversations, really shining and growing and moving forward in your life. As you had that pessimism sort of coming in, that feeling like maybe you couldn't do something or you weren't good enough, but you're rebirthing, you're seeing yourself fully and truly for the first time for who you really are in such a positive light, and that's wonderful. You get to guide yourself towards this relationship or towards these relationships that are in. Just make sure they aren't toxic ones and see where that goes, and really listen to yourself and where you're wanting to go, because you are your guiding light. And then you also have creative, exciting moments happening in, or that you're sort of reigniting a relationship from the past. You also have here laughter is the best medicine, so that's lovely to see. You also have self-acceptance, so really accept yourself. Self-care, self-acceptance, self-love is so important, so that you can grow and become wiser and transition. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with these messages for your week. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know what you thought of them down in the comments below, any of the charms, how they resonated with you, anything like that. I really do love to hear from you guys and how these resonate for you specifically. And also, if you would like to, I would really appreciate it if you would like this video, not only because it shows me that you actually did really enjoy this reading, which is lovely to see, but also it really does help the channel grow, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you to those of you who have liked the video so far. And if you are new to the channel, it's wonderful to see you here. I hope you enjoyed this reading here, or one of your first readings here with me. I do these weekly readings every single Monday, so you can look out for those. Feel free to join in. And I also do monthly videos, so you can check out your month currently. And also I do timeless videos. So if you're interested in any or all of that, please be sure to subscribe and join this wonderful community of magical and exciting people who just really love tarot and all this sort of magical stuff. And also hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I do these weekly videos, and make sure that you don't miss out. So with all of that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Really let yourself shine and guide yourself forward, because growth is coming and that's so exciting. So with all of that said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! Hello Group 3, if you've decided to choose this piece of green Adventurine, as well as this little vial or jar of a bunch of confetti of leaves, then this is the pile for you. I will set them down right here for you so you can see them during your reading. And today we're going to be using the charms as always, as well as the watercolor affirmations. We're also going to be using the Celtic Lenormand deck, as well as the Language of Flowers. And today's tarot deck of choice is the Everyday Tarot. So that is what we're going to be using. I'm really excited for you guys' reading today. It's been interesting for the first 2 piles already, so I'm interested to see what you guys have. There's been sort of a running theme going through, so it'd be interesting to see what you guys have. So before I keep rambling, I hope you guys have had a wonderful week last week and that the month has been treating you well, and let's see what you have coming in for your week group 3. So group 3, we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for your week ahead. Any messages, things of your higher self that we need to address. So group 3. All right, so you have sort of a little clump here of 2. So here we have the Empress and the 5 of Pentacles. So we'll leave those there and go ahead and look for your third message here. So group 3, I'm kind of really feeling this one. So here you have the Sun. That's lovely. Sometimes I take like cards that just jump out, but this one was just like screaming at me to take it. So here we are, the 5 of Pentacles, the Empress, and the Sun. What a wonderful combination here. Let's go ahead and see your Celtic Lenormand message next. So group 3, we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 3's week ahead, the week ahead for group 3. All right, here we are with the Moon. Oh, it's upside down. The Moon. I don't actually read reversals. So here we are with the Moon. And it says here 32, so that might be resonating with a few of you here with 32 and 8, the 8 of Hearts or the 8 of Cups. So there you are with your Celtic Lenormand message. So I'm going to just fix these up real quick. And then you also have a message from the Language of Flowers. So let's see what that is. So group 3, we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance for group 3's week ahead. The week ahead for group 3. Any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 3's week ahead. So here you have status, adaptation, change will be better than you think. So I'm a Taurus and I'm into my creature comfort, so I understand how change can be very scary and very difficult and risky, and just completely out of your hand, out of control. But that is definitely a part of your week. Change is a part of your week, and sometimes change can actually be for the good. So change will be better than you think. But let's go ahead and look at your last message here with the watercolor affirmations before we do the charms later on in the reading. So stay tuned for those. Group 3, we're looking for any information, energy, or insights for group 3. So here you guys have balance over imbalance. So this is just sort of like you need to put balance first, trying to balance out different things in your life, than just sticking to the unbalanced parts. And it's not a perfect journey, it's not easy, but trying to find balance is going to be very healing for you this week, especially since you have both the Sun and the Moon. So let's talk about your week. So you have the Sun and the Moon, and then even the Empress, which has sort of Moon feminine energy. So you have sort of almost an overbalance of feminine energy and less masculine energy coming in, or that's just stereotypical ways of stating it, but basically like the masculine energy would be very assertive, standing your ground, going for more tactic versus intuitive messages. And then the Moon would be more intuitive, more obscure, more subconscious versus conscious messages, light versus dark. You're trying to find that balance, and at the moment you have maybe too much intuition driving you, and not necessarily intuition, but that feminine energy. You're feeling a little bit more in your subconscious, a little bit more dreamy, a little bit less stable, a little less centered and balanced in this energy. And it's time to sort of find that balance for you, because there's a mix of that within each of us. And your light and dark is just sort of heavy on the darker side, and it's being illuminated. So here it's really important to adapt that for yourself to find that balance. But outside of that energy, you also have here the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is about possibly struggling financially right now, or struggling in a more material or physical sense. This could be literally struggling physically at the moment, or struggling in a job or career or finances. There just might be some conflict there, or something that's sort of you're feeling like really stuck in, and it sucks, and things are really difficult right now. And I understand that that's got to be, I can't tell you what it is, but it's got to be very difficult. Nobody wants to feel that. But what's important is you have here this window of this Five of Pentacles just chilling here, all golden in its light, and you're not looking at it. So there is help. There are opportunities there for you right now. People who want to help you, people who want to reach out for you, even ways to help yourself at the moment, that may be avenues that you aren't taking right now. So look beyond just what is difficult and see what else is there. Illuminate it. As sometimes with this energy here, especially with the moon, things can be hidden, right? The moon energy can hide things. It talks about our subconscious, things that we aren't actively looking at. So I feel you might just not be illuminating this window, this hope, this community that's there for you. And it's time to illuminate it. Have some of that ambition come back out. Move yourself forward in some way, because I feel like you're feeling a little stagnant in it. And it's time to adapt that, find that change, find new routes, right? Because this plant sort of has a bunch of different routes, different ways, different avenues that you could take, different paths you could take. And you're sort of staying just on the one and not really sure where to go. And there's just a dead end in your mind. But it's just, you need to look the other way and realize you could just turn back and head a new way. And that'll help bring in that balance that you need in your finances, in your light versus dark side here. And the other thing about the sun too is it talks about our inner child, and just being more playful, being a little bit more, the sun just makes us feel very clear and illuminated and wonderful, and you feel like you could just do anything, right? And that's really lovely to see. It's just you're not really letting yourself have it at the moment. You're sort of staying in this dark and not letting yourself see the light that is there, You're not letting yourself illuminate that for yourself. And I understand it can be difficult. It's a lot easier sometimes to stay in the darker places. I definitely understand, but change really will be better than you think. Just think through all those different challenges you've gone through recently or in the past, or even in, as a child, you've had to go through, but you've survived those. You've not only survived those, but you've conquered them. You've moved forward past them. You've been able to heal from them. You've been able to look and reflect back and be like, wow, look at that thing that I did. And you may not be giving yourself enough credit and enough power, and realizing the power that you have inside yourself to change your direction. So this is that week for you. It feels very much so just balance is so important. So balance is key. But I won't go ahead and keep saying the same thing over again, because I really do feel like there's some more information to be seen in the charms. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the charms here for you guys. And hopefully also fix the blur that's happening right now. A little less blurry for you guys, but let's go ahead and see what the charms have to say for your week, group 3. So group 3, we're looking for any information, insights, energy, or guidance coming in for group 3. What do we need to know? Group 3. Alrighty. So, first off, I'm going to pick up, I swear I thought one was over there. I'm going to pick up all the ones that fell upside down here so that we can get a better look here and sense of what's going on. And then go from there. Then we also can just look at all of your messages and see what's happening here. It's also just started raining a little bit outside, and it's so lovely. I'm sure you can't hear it on camera, but it's really lovely in here. But I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in so you can get a better look and a better sense of what's happening here on the board. Nothing is cut off, so you don't have to worry about that. So first off here in your center, you have the basket charm, which represents you having, maybe too many eggs in your basket, right? You're just trying to juggle too many things. But the other thing about a basket is it's very resourceful. So use those resources that you have. Maybe study in something new that can move you forward, that can be that guiding light for you, that can, be that window of hope. So right now you might just be trying to hold on to something that is just too heavy right now, especially since you also have this over here, which I'll talk more on in just a moment. But you have this basket that could be used for something else. You just have to take out some of those things that are holding you back right now. Take out those eggs that are bad eggs, right? They're spoiling your basket. They're ruining it all. And it's time to put something new in. Find some new hope. Find something new that can be a resource for you. Maybe something new to study in. Maybe something new, a new avenue to take, but it's yours. So really look for it, because that's really exciting to be seeing for you, because it is sort of flipping it and changing it, and it's something you have to do, right? It's not like the universe is just going to turn that wheel for you. Right now it's time for you to evoke that change that you need, because you've been sort of putting it on the clothesline. This is the clothesline charm, which represents just pinning it up to dry and coming back to it later. But it's not really time to just pin it up. Right now it's time to let it down, evaluate it, look at it, and then see, is this really helping me, or is it putting me back? And then, or is it putting me in the dark? Is it holding me back? And illuminate it, really look at those things, because it's time to move forward. As you've been sort of bottling some things up right now, because here you have the bottled up charm. So this represents bottling something up. This is not going to open. It's going to burst when it does, because you just have too much heavy rocks holding you down. And you may have just been feeling like you couldn't make a move. You felt very locked up, very maybe even just feeling like there just really wasn't any other path. But again, it's just illuminating that, realizing it, doing some research and being like, wow, wait, maybe there's this thing that I could try, or wow, I'm really passionate about this. Why don't I try that? And just, just look at the opportunity. It doesn't mean you have to do it. Just look at the opportunity, because you're kind of in this limbo space, right? You can play around still. So play around with it, see what you can do and what you can't do, and then make that educated decision for yourself and use your intuition. You also have here in these cycles the broken record charms. This represents like a broken record, something that's been a repeated cycle that you've been on for a while, and it's just not working anymore. It's getting the scratches, it's getting rough, it's not working for you. So if you're in a job right now that you just don't enjoy, that you don't feel love in, you don't feel passionate about, this is the time to break that. Put a new record on, at least try a new one, and you can always go back. But this is the time to try something new. Try just looking at that opportunity, and that opportunity might have something to do with, or the old record might have to do with, the letter N. So that's something to keep in mind as well, as it fell next to it. You also have here in this little cluster the black hole charm, which I feel like we've already sort of addressed, that you were feeling a little bit down about a certain financial situation. But you have here, which I think is funny because I was just talking about how I was a Taurus, but you have a Taurus in your life It could be you in your sun, moon, or rising sign, but it could be someone else very close to you who is supporting you, or that you're interested in, because there is sort of a love message sort of happening here too. So it may have been that you've had like a work relationship possibly too, but it's talking mostly about trustworthiness, trusting in yourself, trusting in your intuition, trusting in where you're wanting to go. Trust is really important, and having trust comes with creating a stable ground with either yourself or someone else in a relationship, because you have the opening yourself up to love sort of charms. This represents just opening yourself up. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're making a move. And like I was talking, if you felt like you didn't have passion with this broken record, this could be you turning that key and creating passion in a new path. So that's something to think about as well. I always invite you guys to look at these charms and really look at them, like pause the video if you need to, and see if there's another message or a layer there that I haven't spoken about, because they can really speak to you on a personal level. And lastly, you have a little cluster here. So first off, you have more of those cycles, but this is also, I just talk about this as being like one of those little key rings, but you feel like you don't have any keys on it. But as we know, you have a key hanging right here, and then you also have a lock right here. So if it would, showcase it. So you have the lock and the key. So if you have both the lock and the key in a situation here, you always have the opportunity to get yourself out of whatever you feel like you are bogged down in right now, or whatever it is that you feel like is just holding you back. There is an answer, there is an opportunity, there is passion still within you, there is still a light, so you don't have to feel so like you're sucked into it. Just lighten some of that load. Maybe confide in someone who you feel is trustworthy, that you can let some of this out before it explodes. And beside that charm, you have sort of a sense of grounding. So this is not really specific, but it's just representing sort of a grounding charm. And next to it, you have the Tower charm. So this, if you're familiar with tarot, is representative of the Tower. So the Tower is about, restarting something. So this is something has happened, probably in your finances right now, or something in your intuition that you feel like you need to address. But you feel like you had this Tower moment where everything sort of broke down, but now you get to rebuild. So like I was saying, if you feel like you just need to start over again, maybe a new career path, anything. It can be something really small in your finances, maybe the bank you're using, maybe it's whatever, maybe it's a bill that's been holding you back, maybe it's just restarting on a smaller level, but you have a chance to restart, a chance to completely start a new foundation somewhere in something, and that's really exciting to see, so you can ground yourself down again. You also have here the Knight charm, which represents, if you are familiar with chess, the knight can move sort of around other pieces, unlike any of the other pieces in chess, and they're able to sort of be sneaky, move around things. So if you feel like someone's possibly not interested in what you're doing, or they're trying to, hold you back, or you don't feel like they have trust in you, this is the time to sort of move around that. This is the time to get past their messages that they're trying to hold you back with, and only speak to those that are trustworthy, those that are really have your back. And lastly, here you have the selfless charm. So maybe right now you've been being very selfless in your selfless acts lately, maybe acts of kindness towards other people, but it's important to make sure to ask for kindness from other people if you need it. So right now, if you are in your low, this is the moment to ask for that help, because they might be able to help you instead of feeling like you have to do it all on your own. With all of that said, group 3, I understand you guys might be having a more difficult time right now, or things just might be not necessarily down, but just difficult. And it's important that you have the sun here, which means that there is positivity in your life. There are really wonderful, good beginnings coming in, and exciting times where you can be playful and really let this shine. But it requires you really looking and having maybe a bit of shadow work, really looking deeply inside some of these emotions that you haven't been nurturing lately. and been putting to the wayside and just bottling up. It's time to look at those this week so that you can move forward, so that you can enjoy the sunshine and adapt. Because you also have here adapt. Change will be better than you think. Say it out loud. Change will be better than you think. So, that's going to bring some of that balance in for you. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Please let me know in the comments down below how it resonated for you, if there were specific charms that resonated, specific cards, or the general message overall. Also, if you found a specific secret message just for you, I'd love to hear that. So please let me know in the comments down below. And also, if you would like, please be sure to like this video, as it really does help this channel grow and lets me know that you enjoyed this video. So thank you so much to those of you who have already liked the video, because it really does mean a lot to me. And lastly, if you are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for watching. And I really truly hope you enjoyed your reading here today and got a lot of insight for your week. And the months to come, as well, as these can still resonate beyond the week. But I do these weekly messages and weekly readings every single Monday, as well as timeless and monthly readings. You can check out your monthly blessings if you're interested in that right now, as well as that video is up. And if you'd like to, please be sure to subscribe and join this community, as so many others have. It's been so lovely to have you guys joining in. We've just hit just over about 115 subscribers at around this time, and I appreciate so much love and support that you guys have been giving me. So thank you so much. And I'd love to bring some of that support back to you guys too. So thank you so much for watching and subscribing if you have, and I will see you guys in the next one. I'm wishing you guys a wonderful, wonderful week of growth here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.